So first of all, Swapna, thank you for joining us at Tech Talk. It's a pleasure that you joined us. I know we have been talking from past 1 month, and this is a very nice moment to touch base. Especially, thank you for taking off time on Sunday afternoon. That's something that we all look forward to having a deep discussion. So Swapna, what I see is that you have always been into human resources, right? You have always looked in terms of towards people-oriented job that you're doing. Uh, is it because you love interacting with people? You had that knack of leadership quality that you have discovered very earlier that you like to interact with people, or is it because of the time that you were in? A lot of the girls would do medical engineering little bit or HR end of the day in uh, like 10 years ago or let's say 12 years ago. Is that so?
I would say this, it's not at the moment that we are living in VUCA era, but it's always been there. The world has been really dynamic and tremendously demanding in all spheres. So be it business or be it your special interests. So it's definitely an ability to look at business holistically and looking at your own skill set, evaluating where you really can add more value in terms of getting an overall understanding and then pitching in right way. So I think how I chose HR is because I always wanted to get into a role wherein I can start looking at a business in a holistic manner, and I can bring in my strong academics and learnings here to take care of people development. Reason simple being that I've all, my father's friends, in fact, majority of them who've done their PhDs in HR, they were actually, they've been sharing amazing, influencing stories with me of how they've actually dealt with situations being influential HR leader. And that's where I actually started realizing, no, I mean, this is definitely a challenging setup. People think it's everyone's cup of tea, but you really need to have a very scientific and deep study to be able to get through your say to your business stakeholders. And I think that's where it just kicked into my mind, and I thought of getting into HR.
Okay, sure. So, Swapna, HR, was it something because when you were growing up, the stories that you were told about people management and the situation that they were in, how they handled, it's something that grew up on you and then you started loving dealing with people? Because as I understand, when an HR opens its day at the office, before even starting the day, they have 10 to 15 complaints. Obviously, if you're working in a larger firm, there would be thousands and feedback and requests and a lot of things.
So, I mean, if you look at any HR, so as to say that they have to deal with people, overall understanding, with people wherein so it's more towards building that empathetic, environment in the organization. And I look at HR are the ones who actually deal with people, connect with them, engage with them in a better way. Both sides, because if I have to say I being a product manager or project manager of a multi-billion-dollar project that I'm running, I have to deal with larger teams. I have to meet. I have to keep on talking to them. So it doesn't mean that only HR has to play that role of management of people, but it's more of reaching out to them and understanding people in an empathetic way. So the aspect of empathy plays an important role here. So for example, I can say that how HR really creates an impact here. We've been talking about, higher engagements. We've been talking about, you have to understand what people really think. So there's something called as, real operating systems versus touted operating systems, right? So HR actually plays a role because they connect well with people, or people feel that, no, I need to go and talk to the HR professional, because they really understand and they probably will be able to provide me a solution which is not biased, right? So we've been talking about organizational resilience here. So if I have to say here, what kind of organization culture that you would want to create, or how do you want to train your leaders in the organization, what kind of practices and processes that you would want to learn and practice in the organization, so as to say that, oh, I would want to work with this organization because it has an amazing culture. So I think that building culture aspect, I would look at HR as a champion who try and imbibe those values or those practices with leaders, leaders from the business. One of the examples that I can talk about today is that, in Army, in armed forces, connected with each other. And it doesn't happen from it doesn't happen like, just before the war. It happens from day one. You have to start building that resilience, that connect, that empathy with all your, team members from day one. And it doesn't come automatically. It comes because if I die, my colleagues would probably take care of my family members, or an organization would take care of my family members' finances, would provide right directions the moment I'm not there in the world. I mean, the moment we start creating such an organization, values and culture, I think that's where we talk about why people would come and talk to HR individual, because they talk, they preach, and they don't only talk and preach, but they actually practice too.
Okay. So, in your organization that you're currently being an India HR leader, what are the main things that they do in India?
As I said, that we're trying to build here our engineering center of excellence.
Okay.
It is January 2020 when the legal entity has established here at Pune, Balewadi, and we're trying to build and attract right set of talent for our organization.
Okay.
So as to say that what we do try and do. So just to give you a quick brief about Frondoor. Frondoor is a parent company of American Home Shield, which founded the home services plan industry more than 45 years in the US. And today it is the largest provider in the nation. Frondoor also provides services through HSA, OneGuard, and Landmark. These are, 4 different home services plan brands that we have along with American Home Shield. So it's a company that is obsessed with taking the hassle out of owning a home and the services which are powered by people and enabled by technology. So we create technological platform so as to, if my dishwasher breaks down, I can actually reach out to 15,000 pre-qualified contractor firms who employ over 45,000 technicians. Out of that, one which is preferred technician by me would reach out to me and try and fix the issue that I'm facing. And for that, I might have to go with AMC's, with Frondoor, and that is going to take care of all my costly and unplanned breakdowns of my essential home systems. So this is how the business model works, so as to say. But here in India and also in Denver, in Memphis, in Tennessee, these are the places where we are, building our engineering center of excellence, wherein the technology support can be provided. So we are hiring at the moment, amazing technical talents who are working at the moment predominantly on Golang. Most of our coding and programming happens on Golang today. That's a bit about the organization and how we plan to move further.
Okay. Yeah. Are you looking to grow in thousands or hundreds? Just for our viewers, so probably they can follow you on LinkedIn and try to apply for the job.
As of now, it's hundreds.
Okay.
World is very dynamic, and we are hoping to go even beyond that. But as of now, let's stay realistic. I would say hundreds.
Okay, that's great. So this would be all related to technical stuff, engineers and digital and a little bit of sales here.
Yes. So
Okay.
eventually, AI, machine learning, all those things would come in play. As of now, it's Golang.
Okay. So, Sapna, coming back to the original questions of being an HR, what are the challenges it is? The first thing that I understand that you have a family of your own, you have your own personal life, and then when you get into office, you already are handling hundreds of people's lives. So, how difficult is to manage those particular things? This question is basically for people who are going to get into HR or probably planning to do an MBA in HR, and people who are actually struggling in the job what they are, how to manage things. How do you balance it out?
Okay. So I would talk about being focused here. I think
Okay.
that's really, really critical. Uh, so first of all, understand why you would want to get into HR role. Is it because you
Mhm.
like talking to people, or is it really you would want to make a difference to organizations with your
Mhm.
constant, sustained, deep study, research based work? Or do you have enough ammunition with you to be able to convince your stakeholders, right? If
Mhm.
you have, HR is amazing place wherein you can actually go and make your career into. Uh, I would say that um remaining focus is important here, and I would say don't be apologetic or don't get into compromising for other things. Always prioritize your agenda, your things to do in your wish list. For example, this is something not only applicable to HR aspirants, but also who are HR professionals today. So if you want to do higher studies, for example, please do. I have my family.
Mhm.
I have two kids. I have my husband who's all the time flying. So managing all those things, managing your priorities. I would always encourage every individual to actually chalk out a plan, think about what they would want to achieve in say a year's time frame and 5 years down the line. One of the examples that I can tell you is that if I would want to go and do my higher studies with two kids, it's going to be a little difficult. I understand. But the other point here is that if I start studying, if I start sitting and take out my academics, in front of my kids, they would also feel that, oh, my mom is studying, let me also study. Let us also do. And then we will be engaging with highly academic talk, very intelligent discussions, and that would actually a byproduct of when you would want to get into or do something that you really would want to do. So first of all, I would say identify what you want to what you want to achieve over a period of time and what are the means of it. uh, and I think apart from that, we've been talking about lifestyle change. The challenges today, which I predominantly talk about, is following a particular lifestyle, which has been the genesis of the problem that we Gen Z, Gen Y, or everyone is facing today, even the individuals, the professionals who are facing today, right? We eventually, with the current, we all are working from home. Uh, we are tending to, people say that we are more productive, but at the same time people are saying that, oh, there's no work life balance here, because I'm checking my mail at 6 a.m. in the morning, and checking my email and responding to my email by 11 p.m. in the night. But is it really required? We all follow a diet
Mhm.
plan, isn't it?
Yes.
We follow a
Yes.
diet plan because we would want to have a better life, right? We should be able to handle tough situations. We will be able to make right decisions if we are mentally and physically healthy. So we are
Mhm.
advised, and we've been hearing so many things on YouTube, on the entire media, right? We've been talking about have a holistic diet plan for yourself, follow a lifestyle change. uh, I would say we've been talking about a very known person who wakes up 3 a.m. in the morning and has his last meal of the day by 6:30 p.m. And and that's something which is making him really successful. So the way we feel that, oh, we have to follow this, I would I would say one small example again here is that we have to follow that with our phone as well. We have to follow that with our with our different instruments that we are using, be it
Tools and
laptop, right? So don't touch it after 9 p.m. Probably just try and do it. I think these are the few things that I wanted to mention. The challenges, overall. I think the moment we start categorizing, we start prioritizing things, we start focusing, most of the things will take care of its own.
Okay, sounds great. Sounds great. Because this is something even I wanted to ask, but you already have answered those questions. Because how important is having a discipline at a level what you are. Because for that matter, even the job that you are, because you're handling a lot of people, so you have to actually give them a go ahead, or you can say run ahead and say that, boss, after 6, 7, you will not get a reply. Get your work done before that, so I can address you. So that's a good way of keeping a balanced discipline as well. So you are not even telling that I won't reply. You saying this is my capacity from morning 9 to 7. I am with you. After that, it's impossible because I'm a tired human body.
Yeah, I mean, without impacting my productivity, the time, without impacting the quality and deliverables here. I have to make myself working in a smarter way, which will ensure that I'm taking care of important things on priority, responding to emails on priority, and this is something that I generally do with my stakeholders as well, setting up context, setting up expectations from me as well as from them, and it helps. People respect boundaries.
Exactly. So let's get on to a few more important things. Is like if a person wants to study HR, because understand not everybody wants to get into HR because they are passionate about people, because someone doesn't want marketing sales, so they don't do it. Somebody doesn't understand finance, so they get into an HR because safe bet, end of the day recruitment something, so they think it's easy bet. So what are the qualities they need to have or at least adopt when they are trying to become an HR? 3-4 tips.
I think being agile will help them.
Okay.
Understanding the bigger picture of why you're doing this will help them, and also at the same time, ability to deep dive to the problem area will help them. So I may be talking in a bigger picture here, not very specific to HR, but this is going to help to every individual. So why HR? They have to think through. Is it because people say that it's relatively easier? Believe you me on this, it's definitely not an easier thing. It needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of study. So if you're ready to do that, please get into HR is what my advice to people. Because you are dealing with folks, you are dealing with your business partners who are extremely capable of running larger setups, larger businesses, right? They are the one who are responsible for running and generating revenues. So they would definitely like to have some smart advisor who would be able to provide them right ability or right data pointers to make right decisions for the betterment of business.
Okay, that's great. HR is a different thing. You are into a leadership position, right? You have to think beyond now your normal duties because you are a leader now, correct? So I was interviewing a CMO from a very large firm. She said it's not just strategy or marketing, Sachin. CMO's job is basically to get into a lot of things, understand more business, have a knowledge about other departments as well, including HR, finance, and then make a plan how to grow. So being a leader, do you also have that same responsibility, not just your own core thing what you do, but apart from looking at every possible thing and then stimulate into one particular, try to put into a one particular plan and then go ahead?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that goes without saying, that goes into HR kitty as well. You have to think about why you are trying to put across few of HR initiatives. For example, you would want to actually develop people from legacy product skills to say to cloud-based competencies. Why do you want to develop that? And why your business leader is asking you to actually put a lot of focus on that? You have to understand, you have to go understanding why this is really required, and how will you develop your L&D plan around it with the timelines. This example is just to share, to ensure that A, you understand why of it, B, you understand how to, so the execution excellence comes into play here, right? So it's not only okay, we would want to do this, but why we would want to do this, and what could be the next steps, logical steps, to ensure that we achieve moving everyone to cloud-based technologies, and what are different interventions that would be required, what could be your plan. So this is something which is which enables you to think as a leader, and many a times it happens that when you try and put across right arguments and right suggestions, the possibility of buying those suggestions is very, very high when you start thinking from these angles.
Okay, that sounds great. Coming to other points, do you also take care of trainings at the organization, or is it too small a team in India to do anything?
As of now, so on the training front, I don't take care of the training. The team is very small here, and we have our US counterparts, a big L&D team, which is taking care of global training plans.
L&D development. Okay, sure. As you grow into your role, any individual for any skill that they are into, be it software engineer, HR, or a salesperson, everything. What are the skills needed to grow up the ladder for being a leader or lead a team and many other things as well? Because you see, there are brilliant performance individuals, but people are not around them. So company also doesn't know what point to take them out or keep in, because they're performing well, but then the salaries are not being justified because they are senior, but they don't have a team, because a lot of things matter, right? There are not so brilliant individual performance, but they're brilliant team leaders as well. So they know how to extract performance from people, right? So when you are going up to into a leadership position, what are the qualities that is required?
Especially when you're trying to move ahead up in the ladder, you need to understand the finance of the work that you're doing. You need to understand the budget part of it. You need to understand. You need to build resilience. You need to be. There's an Olympic principle which says that higher, faster, better. Right? So you have to move into that direction. You have to show and demonstrate an ability to learn newer things, and how you can be faster as compared to other folks in the organization, and also at the same time higher collaboration skills. Do you have ability to influence your team members? Are you taking up certain tasks which are a little different? Are you in a position to go an extra mile, not only doing your existing staff within your workspace, but also is there anything else that you are willing to take up in addition to what you've been doing, and showcase your ability to learn things and do things faster. I think the list is endless. It's just that prioritizing based on the culture of the environment, culture of the organization, what the organization really needs at the moment. So analyze that first, and then you eventually move up in the ladder. And I think just stay true to yourself. I think that something will take you really ahead.
How do you plan a career for your people? Being an HR, you also have responsibility making sure that people around you also grow. Not only your direct subordinates, but in organization as well. Because at some point of time, the junior leaders are moving to senior groups, and senior will go to major senior, and probably they might even leave the company, or it's difficult to tell. And then how do you grow these people?
Any approach that you take, it has to be in a sustained manner, right? I would look at this as that you have to develop your leaders to identify the top important priorities for their segment, right? Also, many times it is helped during current COVID-19 pandemic situation. There's quite a lot of anxiety. You would see many disengaged employees. So we have to learn, celebrate vulnerabilities. Don't shy away from that. Always look at people who who build hope for success, and there's no space for fear of failure. So it's about creating that environment wherein people would feel like they would come forward and talk about their failures. They would come again and they would want to learn from their failures. And the moment we actually start sharing such emphasis on celebrating vulnerabilities, I think things would actually, you would look at things moving into a different direction. So it's all about taking your leaders along, sharing why the growth is important. Do you have enough leaders who have growth mindset, or they have a fixed mindset? That should be part of your talent acquisition strategy as well. So when you start hiring people, you have to look at especially hiring leaders who think in this direction, who are not afraid of sharing their failures, right? And who don't want to shy away from few things that they've not done right, because everyone is not perfect, not all the time, right? Current situation is, if I have to say, is that it's an economic collapse. It's not only economic collapse, but social collapse too. So we would want, there's quite a lot of sociological and psychological trauma that people are going through it. So you have to have a set of leaders, and you have to actually come up with a strategy to develop your leaders, to identify these folks and actually come up with a right plan to help them grow. I hope it answers your question.
Not to my satisfaction, maybe you're not sharing the information, but I'll ask you directly. How do you develop leaders?
People learn from environment. They learn from their leaders. They learn from external factors that are impacting. So if I have to develop leaders, I have to have, from the execution perspective, I have to have a sense of ownership to ensure that, okay, so someone who's been leading a team of 50 members, or probably X multi-million-dollar project, and would want to hone up his skills or her skills and move to next level. It's more of learning on the job, ensuring that you provide environment to wherein they can actually take up certain external courses, provide and build such policies around it which will take care and support their growth appetite here. Also at the same time, give them an opportunity to do, apart from what they've been doing, to take up higher responsibilities. Someone who's at, for example, at a team lead position, right, has been taking care of 7 to 8 team members, which is a typical scenario in IT organizations, services, be it products, and he would want to move to a project manager role, or he would want to move to a, eventually technical architect role. So we need to have a defined structure of the mentorship program, which will take care of, coaching and developing them on the job, which will eventually provide them, such on-the-job responsibilities, which would eventually, in simple language, someone who would want to move to a project manager role, give them an opportunity to do a project manager and, let that person demonstrate and work at a capacity of project manager at least a year and a half in advance, such that he actually gets the right exposure.
So in short words, follow the leader.
Shadow, observe, and follow the leader.
Okay, that's great. Now, very small and critical questions. So I would just require short answers so people can understand now. So for them who are joining, for them we have to make sure that learning is slightly easy, right?
Yeah.
So let's go to this side. what are the qualities required for a person to be hired by Frondoor through Swapna?
An ability to work with a startup-like environment, someone who can go deep dive, someone who really loves tech and can in terms of moving from one technology to other technology. I think these are a few things that I would definitely look at. Every individual who would be joining us.
Okay. So second is like, since you are hiring in hundreds, that's in Pune, Balewadi. So these openings are basically towards technology, sales, marketing, and everything. Is that right?
Yeah, the predominant openings are on the technology side.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. Engineering. So a lot of engineers probably can do it. So freshers as well as experienced people are welcome if they have that due diligence to work with.
Freshers, we have a different strategy. We would be reaching out to colleges through internship. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So how have you adopted during this pandemic, your company as well? Because we all have been hit by this. I think there would be a lot of chaos in a lot of the industries, particularly the industry that you guys are in. So how are you managing all the things?
There's no chaos, honestly. Things are. It's all because the right leadership which is flowing in the organization, who've been actually thoughtful and thinking through really hard before setting up even the India entity, so as to say. From the finance, from budgeting, from operations, from legal, all the sides. So I think as long as you have right systems and processes in place, you know what you need to achieve and how you need to achieve, things are easier. And I think that's what I believe.
Okay. Is your industry hit by pandemic, since you're saying there is no chaos?
I wouldn't say hit by pandemic as such. I think it's just that we need to be really resilient and agile with the changed times. We have globally adopted remote working venues in place. Even work from an easy thing to adopt with the right leadership flowing.
Any message to those people who have lost their job, and also to the people who have just graduated? We're looking forward to join some organization. Unfortunately, due to this pandemic, they are not getting that openings. I know people also lost their jobs. Any message to those people?
People who've lost their jobs, I would say that this is a tough time. It's just that keep building your skills. Talk to your mentors. Try and understand how systems are moving. Try and understand what where you see opportunities open. I think the moment you start actually building up your skills, you are more employable there, and there's a stark a possibility that you would be called in for the interview.
Okay, that's great. So keep trying until you succeed. That's the message from Swapna.
With that, please ensure that you learn something new during this time, because this is a time. If you like writing a book, articles, please do that. You want to experiment something new, please do this. This is a time when actually you can showcase that how well you've utilized you were not working. Okay. Are you open for mentoring, Swapna? Oh, absolutely. I would love to.
Sure. Because we will be leaving a link to your profile once this interview is published. So probably people can connect with you.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
That's great. It was a pleasure talking to you. But thank you for coming to us on a Sunday afternoon and joining us at NetTalk. I was a human resource manager, and now she's a leader. She has grown tremendously. She has a deep understanding about people management, about performance management, about taking care of the system, getting integrated in the system as well. I know we really thank you for joining us at the NetTalk. And I apologize if there has been any problems due to the internet, if the videos are slow or something like that, because we are constantly trying to improve what we are doing right now. But due to bandwidth, everybody's using internet, our connections not being so great, we are not able to bring that flow during our videos. So if it is, I really apologize. And I'll try to do it more. Once things get normalized, you will see everybody in our studio at the NetTalk, which I have built, which you can see, and probably we'll take it from there. So for now, thank you for joining the NetTalk. Take care.